Hi everyone, I'm Steffi D.
And I'm Lisa H.
And welcome to Check-In From Away.
This week we are checking in with the Epsteins and sharing fall favorites.
Thanks for joining us. Hey Lisa, guess what?
What?
I don't know if you heard, but summer's over.
I can feel it, but we're going to get cozy and warm with some of our fall favorite recipes.
Are we? I'm wearing this apron, but I wasn't ready to cook. I'm kidding. I knew we were going to cook.
One of the things I love most about fall is soup. All the delicious soups come out. Thanksgiving is around the corner, and you know what better way to celebrate this kind of festive, cooler weather than with a soup. So today, I'm going to be making a super easy carrot ginger soup. So here we go, the ingredients for the carrot ginger soup. You're going to need 6 cups of carrots. You're going to need 1 white onion, 1 tablespoon of garlic, 2 tablespoons of ginger, chicken broth, coconut milk, and a little bit of butter. All right, the first thing you want to do is you want to take a tablespoon of butter, and then you just want to put it in your pot to melt it, because you're going to add the onions and the garlic and kind of get them caramelized, all right? So just put that in. I already heated up my pot, so hear that sizzle. Butter's melting. And I'm going to add my onions to that. And my garlic. And now we're just going to caramelize these for about, 4 or 5 minutes. Just get them nice and soft. So once the onions are nice and soft, you're going to want to add your 6 cups of carrots. Now this is the longest part of making the soup, is you got to get the carrots nice and soft, all right? Just going to add them in. So now all you're going to do is you're just going to cook the carrots and the onions together and get the carrots really, 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 really soft. And this is going to take about 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I want to add the ginger now. And I'm just going to put the ginger on top of this, and I want the ginger to just get fragrant. Once you start smelling the ginger smell, I'm going to add my chicken broth to this soup. So the soup is boiling, all the flavors have come together really nice. I've taken it off the heat, and now it's time to puree it together. This is how we're gonna get the nice thick creaminess to it. So, immersion blender, just put that bad boy in there, be careful, and you just wanna start blending. You wanna add your coconut milk.
Oh!
And then you're gonna use the immersion blender again to get this all stirred up. And your final step is just to add salt and pepper to taste, whatever you like. And that's it. Here it is, the finished product. I garnished it with a little parsley from my deck garden, and let's have a try. Oh, this is fall in a bowl.
Today, I'm going to be making my famous 3-layer coconut cream pie.
Yum.
But don't let me take all the credit for it, because this is actually Brian Mosier's mother's recipe. Shirley, thank you so much, Shirley, for the recipe. She shared it with me at the beginning of isolation, and I've made this pie many a times, and it is my favorite pie of all time.
And also, guess what? It's going to be Thanksgiving pretty soon, so like pretty sweet. Someone can make that pie, bring it to the Thanksgiving dinner. Like, hello.
Hello, where's my future boyfriend? You want me to bring your family a freaking coconut cream pie?
Surely he does.
Here are the ingredients you're going to need for the famous coconut cream pie. First ingredient is 1 graham cracker pie shell, 1 egg white, 2 cans of coconut milk, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 8 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1/4 cup of water, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 can of whipped cream, and 1 bag of shredded coconut. Step 1 is going to be to preheat your oven at 375. We're going to take our graham cracker crust, and we are going to coat it with some egg white so it gets nice and crispy in the oven. Step 2 is you're going to take half of your bag of shredded coconut, you're going to put it in a pan, you're going to drizzle it with olive oil, and then you're going to put it in the oven for about 7 minutes. The same amount of time as you're going to put your pie shell in there. Now we're going to make the most important part of the pie, which is the filling. The first layer we're going to make is the chocolate coconut cream. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to pour our can of coconut milk into our saucepan. All right. Then we are going to add a 1/4 cup of water into this saucepan. Then we are going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar to the mixture. While your mixture starts boiling a little bit, you're going to add 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, but do it slowly so it gets blended in properly and doesn't get chunky. That's a really important step. And then we're gonna add the chocolate component to this layer, which is the 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. You're gonna keep whisking this like pretty constantly, consistently for the next like 10 to 15 minutes until it gets like thick enough that you feel like it's gonna be the right consistency for the pie. Now we're making our second layer of the coconut cream pie, which is the coconut cream layer. So how this is gonna work is basically you're gonna do everything you did for the chocolate layer, except you're not gonna add the cocoa powder. All right, Lisa, we're gonna pour our chocolate mix into our crust because this is the first layer. Ooh, look at that ooey goodness. And then after that, we're gonna pop it in the fridge. I'm gonna leave it in there for about like 15 to 20 minutes until it just stabilizes and becomes a little bit thicker. All right, Lisa, we're gonna put this on top of our chocolate layer. I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. Again, we're gonna do the same thing as we did before. We're gonna pop it in the fridge for about 15 minutes, make sure it's nice and solid, and then we're gonna move on to the whipped cream. Feel free to make a design if you want, but I like doing like this, like little rosettes. Cute, right? And Lisa, the final step in this amazing culinary journey is that we're going to take our toasted coconut. We're gonna pour some on top. Don't be shy. It's crispy and delicious. And guess what? That's it. Here we go. Come on. It's amazing.
Hi, I'm Gabi Epstein, and I was in the Mirvish production of Once.
Hi, I am Jake Epstein. Very happy to be here. I was in my very first gig was Art Town with Soul Pepper at the Royal Alex Theatre with Mirvish. I did Oliver. I was the Artful Dodger when I was very young. I did Billy Elliot with Mirvish. Was supposed to do Indecent in the off Mirvish season, and I'm slated to bring my solo show Boy Falls from the Sky to next year's off Mirvish season.
Stop bragging!
I'm just bragging. They asked me.
Are you two related?
Gross. A little bit. We share the last name. Epstein Sib the first.
Dose.
And Dose.
Dose.
Right here. Although most people think it's the other way around. When we were kids, when we would like be away with our folks and we'd sneak into like casinos and stuff like that on resorts, they would 100% kick me out but let Jake stay in.
It was the best. It was the best.
Have you guys ever performed on stage together in a show?
We have. Jake,
yes.
Go ahead. Well, twice. Like one show, one staged book musical show, and then one cabaret.
Okay.
Yes, we did a Talk is Free theater show where I played Gabi's imaginary friend, which was really fun casting on their part.
So I was the standby for the role of girl in Once, and I went on Once. I was
Once and Once.
I was the star of Once, and so I think it's a pretty easy. It's a pretty easy memory. It's a pretty easy favorite. That my one time in Once, that was a pretty special day. It was a Wednesday matinee, and like I want to say 80% of the people there were there to see me. A lot of people were just waiting for when I was going on because they are from Toronto and the tour had come in the year before. So a lot of our friends and family were waiting.
I flew in from New York for the show, and I remember being on the aisle and your legs kind of brushed my elbow, and I looked up and I could see you like sort of shaking, and I'm like, you're kind of like not sure. It was that long walk to the stage, and then you opened your mouth to start, and it was just like incredible. Getting cast as the Artful Dodger at the age of 12 when I'd never really danced or sang in public before, like getting that whole process was amazing and eye-opening. Getting cast was so exciting, and then I remember the first preview. You know, you're terrified, you don't know how it's gonna go, and it's the Princess of Wales theater, so it's that abyss of how many people are in the audience. And then it went well somehow, you know, like everything about it was just sort of, what is going on? Like, what is happening? But definitely like opening night of Oliver was just, you know, with so many of my heroes in the audience, and it was really special. I remember doing Oliver, and there was a scene when I'm supposed to come in act 2, and the whole scene is about this pouch of money that the Artful Dodger brings on. And they always put like an extra dollar bill in my sleeve just in case something happened to the money. So there's one show when I forgot the money and then forgot to put in the extra thing, and had all these brilliant British actors improvise on stage a scene about money without money. Like they just kind of made it about their relationship. Like they didn't even try to pretend like there was money. And I just sat there like just watching this happen. And they were brilliant, and they came off, and I was mortified and apologized. But, you know, they said, it's live theater. That's what happens. Like, don't do it again. And I never did.
Being a standby anyway is nerve-wracking, but especially also when you're playing the piano live on stage for you know, thousands of people, and that's something that like obviously you get really used to. Even probably a couple of weeks in, it's all the nerves are probably mostly gone, but you sort of don't really get that. So every time we ran the show and me playing that classical piece that she plays at the beginning, like hands shaking, and just like, you know, you can't, like, unlike any other instrument with the piano, if you hit a wrong note, it's just wrong. Like there's nothing more wrong than a wrong note or a wrong chord on the piano. And like I just remember,
it's not jazzy. It's right.
It's not jazzy.
It's
yeah, Mendelssohn is not jazzy.
It's not jazzy.
And it just was like the worst screw up. Like just screw up upon screw up. I think it was my first put in. Clearly just I needed to like get it out of me, to the point that like, you know, Donna Garner, we had some people from the cast helping out, whatever, and she just like looked just like I was having a stroke on stage. Just the worst, covered up by even more worse.
Favorite fall drink?
Spice latte.
Pumpkin juice.
Favorite fall spot in Toronto?
Cafe.
Apple picking.
Your favorite fall tradition?
Sweaters, like sweaters. The tradition of sweaters.
Yeah, I love like getting to like plaids, getting to wear like pants, plaids.
Festive pie?
Apple, 100%.
Pumpkin?
Your favorite fall soup?
That's squash.
I mean, like I'm a like matzo ball any time of year.
Favorite fall color?
Burgundy.
Green.
Favorite fall memory?
Oh, back to school shopping. Like going to Staples, getting all the pencil crayons and all that stuff. You know, like the whiteout, like the tape whiteout, and you're like, I'm gonna use it this year. The reinforcements for the 3-hole punch, every pencil cases, yeah. Back to school shopping. Thinking you're gonna use it all. and not using it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Off the top of my head, I guess because I said apple picking before, my mom would take my sis and I as kids apple picking, and because we were like intense, sensitive kids, it became known as spiritual apple picking. So we would like discuss life and like where we are in the world, what our feelings are.
Because fall, like as we're going to get into it, usually fall coincides with the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. And so sometimes there's like 2 days that you go to synagogue, but we would sometimes just go one day to synagogue and we go apple picking on the second.
We would say, well, let's go spiritual apple picking instead. Right. I feel like I always associate the fall with seeing family because there are all these Jewish holidays. I always like equate the fall time with like that's the time when you're going to see your family a whole bunch. We were really lucky growing up that we had on my dad's side of the family, all of his brothers and sisters all live in Toronto, so we grew up with all these first cousins all in the city. So we got to see each other all the time, and now I have that. And then my wife Vanessa's family, they do a proper Thanksgiving, so it's really like I feel like every weekend of the fall is like a family thing. We thought we would show you guys some Rosh Hashanah cooking because it's sort of more of what we grew up with and what we know.
So Rosh Hashanah is the Jewish New Year, and that's literally what that first holiday is. The high holidays are actually a group of 4 holidays that are kind of back to back. So the most famous ones, if you will, are Rosh Hashanah, which is the New Year, followed by 10 days later Yom Kippur, which is where we fast for a day and, you know, get in the good book and all that stuff. But that's obviously also followed by a big meal at the end, because God forbid we go one day without eating. We need like a giant meal before and a giant meal afterwards, just to like, you know, make it a Jewish thing.
When you wish someone, like you wouldn't say like Happy Rosh Hashanah, you'd say Shana Tova, which is Hebrew, and it literally means have a good year or have a sweet year. So because of that, you're supposed to eat sweet foods. So I don't really cook, but
we're in luck.
Apples and honey. Yes, so as you can see, Steffi, Lisa, I have 2 kinds of apples here. I have the Granny Smith, that's the green, and then the Royal Gala, which is the red, arranged in order of deliciousness. I myself, I like an apple skin myself, so I like to start with the skin and then work my way down. And then we have some honey, and you can use any honey, but I prefer a no-name 100% Canadian liquid honey.
Of that.
It's I like the viscosity of it, you know, very sweet. It's a little bit sticky on there. And that's it. I mean, it's a simple dish, but you know, it hits home. So you dip it into a thing. You want to try to get the honey really kind of want to get the honey all over it as much as you can. It's really a skill that takes a long time. And honey will really go far. You know, if you really let it right down. You take a bite.
Amazing.
Shana Tova.
Here is a recipe book by our Granny Daisy. This is our Granny Daisy, and this is a book that was put together by her kids and stepkids. My dad is her stepson, called Daisy's Recipes. And these are some of her favorite recipes, and this is my favorite, and this is something that we have on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I have no idea if other people have this. Maybe it's just an Eastern European thing. Who knows? But they're called, say it with me, bulkalach.
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 Bulkalach. Some people just call them bulkies.
Bulkies.
And right beside this page on the book is my Granny Daisy's handwritten recipe for Volkala. Now, what they are is they're essentially just like cinnamon raisin buns. And they are like so delicious.
Most likely to laugh at the wrong moment.
Me.
That's Jake, 100%, even though I just laughed, that's Jake.
Most likely to be a flirt.
Awkward.
Is there a Gabi with a glass of wine?
Jake since elementary school with Vanessa.
Aww. Who is most likely to want to live alone on a deserted island?
Maybe, I mean, if I had to, maybe me.
I'd say
I
Jake.
guess.
Okay, who is most likely to set a Guinness World Record for something?
That's Jake.
Me?
Okay, what would it be?
Yeah.
Anything that
I don't want to say it yet. Otherwise, someone else might go out there and do it.
Who is most likely to go to space?
Like metaphorically?
Like literally go to space.
Literally? I want to say none of us. None.
Most likely to order a pizza in the next 24 hours.
Like,
Gabi?
I'm gonna say me just because I live with Jeremy Lapalm, my husband, and the chances are that there's a higher chance of that happening on this side of Toronto than.
And gluten upsets my stomach.
Most likely to be the parent's favorite.
That's me.
I was going to say me. Definitely me.
Thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Check-In From Away.
See you soon. Cheers.
Cheers.